In this video, we are going on a creative journey as we make a one-of-a-kind keepsake card with pockets, capturing the memories of a very special day during my holiday in Rome. Now, Rome is a city known for its rich history and stunning architecture, but for me, no trip to Rome is complete without leaving the center to experience the beauty of the sea. So I headed to Lido di Ostia, a charming coastal town just a short distance from the city. As fate would have it, this particular day turned out to be a whirlwind of emotions, blending moments of sheer heaven with unexpected challenges. Hi there, this is Luisa Heinzel. Thanks for joining me today. I want to work on another piece in my travel journaling box, which you can see here. This box documents my last holiday in Rome. If you have missed the other videos about this box, you can find a playlist linked below this video where you can find all of the videos and watch how these things came to life. For today's project, I want to use this little piece here, which I've already prepared. And if you wonder how I made this, this is just so easy. So let me explain. I had some paper bags from a restaurant, and in those paper bags originally there have been those things like napkin and fork and knife, all those things that you need for having your meal. And I had several of those, and I have just folded them so that I get a really nice edge here. And these are basically 3 of those bags. And then I've just sewn around so that I have a pocket here now, which is going to the very bottom here. An even bigger pocket here, you know. And here on the top, there's a little bit some kind of a weird pocket, but that doesn't matter. This I will not use in the end, because for my project for today, I have planned to do something on the back side with another piece of paper, and that I will sew on later so that I have the sewing all around. But that really doesn't matter because we have here a pocket and here, which we can use to put in some ephemera pieces like tags or something like that and have a nice journaling space. This is just a piece of watercolor cardstock by Ranger, and I have cut that into a little tinier size than this is. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that this day on the beach, is it at the beach? No, on the beach. I mean, I was on the beach directly with my feet in the sand. Then it's on the beach, isn't it? I'm so sorry. These little words drive me crazy. This day on the beach was a really stormy day. That was not this kind of like sunny holiday weather. So I thought I want to choose colors that match this day and the weather on this day. Because of that, I've chosen Stormy Sky. Only the name is so fitting for this day. And this color is, I would say, the main color of this day, if that makes sense. Then I have Iced Spruce, Weathered Wood, and Speckled Egg. All of these ink pads are oxide ink pads. If you want to recreate this, you could of course also use distress ink or other ink pads or other colors, watercolor, acrylic paint or whatever. But I have tried to choose these colors driven by my emotions and my memory of this day. And I've also looked at my video footage. That can also be something that can be a trick. If you don't know which colors you want to choose, look at your photos and your video material that you perhaps have recorded during a holiday, and then you have a really easy job to choose your color palette. I want to go from Speckled Egg to Stormy Sky, so that means from the bottom here to the top in this order, so that I get a really nice and interesting background for this, showing the sky on the top and the sea here, and I will create a beach here later. Yeah, let's see if that works. I've actually never done something like that before. And I'm trying to get my blending not too regular. I'm just thinking, how can I manage that? Because this day was like really, really stormy. And also the clouds in the sky, they were like so giant, and it was really, yeah, like, do you know those clouds where you can see those shapes and the end of the cloud so well? You could even think about like, you know, creatures or even furniture or something like that, that you could see in those shapes of the clouds, and that was really, really fascinating. And this storm, I mean, that was so impressive. I mean, I would say those of you who know real storms, yeah, for those of you that wouldn't be a real storm. I don't know how to explain that, but it was just impressive. It was crazy, really, really crazy. So next, I want to take some water and splatter that onto this background to create some really nice effects, and to get the oxidation shown on this background as well. So I'm spritzing the water first to my hands, and then I want to have really much here, because this has to be really, really, like, you know, stormy. When this is dry, it looks like this. I'm so in love. This turned out really, really cool. And if I look at this now, and if I look to these, oh my goodness, here are two rabbits next to each other. Look. I just wanted to say, if I look at these shapes, I can see so many animals and other things. Here's a head, like nearly like a skull. And when I I'm so sorry. Just in the moment when I wanted to say that, I saw this rabbit here. Can you see the ears? And here is the head, and here's his body. And here's a second one. Look, two rabbits. Here on the top, we have the sky now, and this goes like seamlessly into the water of the sea. So that was exactly what I have experienced on that day. And now I want to stamp over this, and later I want to emboss that to create some waves and this foam of the waves. For that, I'm going to use this stamp. This is called Bubbles. This is by Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous. And the number is CMS 449. Ooh, that looks relatively good, I would say. So now I'm going to take my white embossing powder to emboss this. Oh. Oh, and I also got, oh my goodness, I got a, oh, what a lucky day. I got an additional effect. I will show you that in a second. Holy crap, that is so cool. Look. Oh my goodness. Look, you can see the actual stamp impression. But here, obviously, my paper was not completely dry, because the embossing powder is directly there where my shapes of the water are. Do you know what I mean? How cool is that? So this is completely cold now. That is important, because I want to stamp again, but this time I don't want to emboss my stamp impression, but I want to I want to try something. I even can't explain that. Let's see. Because what I have here now is nice, but it's too friendly. It's not stormy enough. And because of that, I want to try something. That is also something that I have never done before, and I have absolutely no idea if that will work, but we will see that in a second. So the plan is, I want to take some writing of these stamps here. So not the flowers, but only the writing. This is the Botanic Collage number 447 by Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous. And I want to try to take either this or this. Let's see how we can get it there without getting the flower. Look, here the embossing powder, it's slippery, it's like plastic, meaning if I'm fast enough after stamping to take a paper towel and rub over that, I should be able to remove a whole lot of the ink from the embossing powder so that it gets a really dirty white in the end, because some of the ink will go into these little areas here. And at the same time, I'm assuming that I will smear a little bit of the ink to my oxide ink background, and that's the plan. So that that gets really abstract and really woo. Do you know what I mean? I have taken out ground espresso and black soot archival ink. For doing that, I want to start with the ground espresso because I guess that I like brown better than black in this case, but I don't know that totally sure. Do you know what I mean? So it's good to have options. So let's see. Press this down. Mehr. Okay, I will do a second coat really fast so that that can't dry. That looks really good. So now let's take the paper towel and let's smear this. Oh, es funktioniert. Sieht genauso aus, wie ich mir das vorgestellt habe. Wie geil ist das bitte? This works exactly like I wanted it. That is so cool. But it's also very brownish. But that doesn't matter, we have black as well. We can just stamp over it again. So let's take some black soot archival ink to get this a little bit more dirty brownish. But now it looks really like, you know, this contrast is relatively big, but I want to have this writing only here and nowhere else. So let's try something. So to get this contrast a little bit smoother, if that makes sense, I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm just smearing a little bit of this ink over here. And this thing with the writing turned out really, really nice. That is a really nice addition, I would say. Look. So next I want to create the beach here on the bottom of this card, and for that I want to use this printable paper here. This comes from my Magnolia Coffee Birds Junk Journal kit. I've shown you this several times in my past videos, but of course I will link this down below for you in the description box again so that you can check that out. This is only one page of really, this is a really big kit, but this is really cool because this is the beach. Can you see the sand and that stuff? There are some weird things that are laying on the beach. And this little thing here, I know. But I know that's weird what I'm saying now, but this to me could also be some of those tiny starfishes. I think that's the English word, which are laying on the beach. And sometimes you even find things on the beach where you think, what is this little thing doing here? And now I want to try to tear along the stamp like this, because this is the shape of the beach. Does that make sense? And then there was this thing with this one bus. If you are on holiday in Rome and you have a hotel in the center of the city and you want to go to Lido di Ostia, then you have to drive a little bit, either with a car that you have rent or with the bus or the metro or something like that. So we went there and I have this ticket here. So I want to use this to create something like the, washi tape thingy, but it's not it's not a washi tape, but you know what I mean. I want to create a little strip of this. So I'm going to cut this down to be able to glue that there to write Lido di Ostia in a second. So I think this is what I want to do. And I want to write Lido di Ostia here with the help of this die cut set by Zizix and Tim Holtz. The number is 665924 and I've already cut out Lido di Ostia here. Can you read it? I want to place this here. And this shall be a little tab at the same time. So I'm holding this like so, turning that around to save this part because that will be not shown in the end, but I want to have this piece here on the back so that it's not so naked. And to come to Lido di Ostia is actually not so hard. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities, but we had a really big problem because when you want to go from the beach, when you are directly on the beach and you want to go back to the train station, you have different possibilities, of course, and one of those is taking a bus. And we have been several times on that beach and went back to the train station with a bus, and I thought that should be no problem. I have Google Maps, and Google Maps also shows me the time when the bus is leaving and the exact place where the bus is leaving. And we've done it in other holidays several different times. So we have been there and thought, okay, it is relatively stormy. Let's go back. And that was so when I look at it or think about it now, it was so funny, but in that moment it has driven me crazy. I thought, let's look to Google Maps and see which bus is the next. And we found one, and we also found the place where it should stop to pick us up. And we have been there for, I think, an hour or so, and the bus didn't come. Then we've searched for another position. We've walked to the next bus station, and there was even a sign that said that this bus shall come in about, 15 minutes or something like that. We have been waiting there, and the bus was like, it was driving. Let's imitate this here. I will make a little map for you here. So let's say this was the main street where the bus was coming, and this is a little street on the side. We have been standing here, and the bus was coming from here, and we thought, oh yeah, we are happy, and the bus will stop in a second, and it will come along here and stop here. But it didn't. The bus has driven like so, and then it went into this little street to go here, and it stopped here, and that was like we could see the bus from here, but we couldn't reach it so fast because this street is actually really relatively big. And we saw, okay, it's stopping here, and then it was driving like so back to this street, but we have been here, and it went like this, and it was gone. So we thought, okay, we just have to go here and wait here. So we went to this place. The next bus went from here over this street. Okay, we could see it from here, and we were like, okay, we have been here, the bus has driven here, and I mean, what the heck, yeah? So we went back to wait here. The next bus came. We jumped to the street. The bus gone. And we were like, what? We even, made weird gestures with our hands, but it didn't stop. And that was so crazy. So we had to walk the whole way from this bus station back to the train station. And it was so horrible. I mean, we had some food, but we both needed to go to the toilet, really urgent. And it was so terrible. So I will never, never forget that. When I look at it now, it's funny, but in that moment, it really wasn't funny. So I've already glued my letters here, saying Lido di Ostia. And now I'm gluing this to my, and I will sew around here in a second. I really like this combination of the printed thread and the real thread, and also this black line here. That makes it really harmonious, I would say. And I've also found the perfect quote for this day, lost. And this I want to glue down here on the bottom. This is just perfect. Now let's go to this side here and let's decide how to document this thing with the bus. I'm thinking about making something like streets with the help of some tape. So I have these 3 design tapes by Tim Holtz, and I want to decide which of those I can use to make, something like a really abstract thing that shows those streets, and perhaps we can also include a little bus somehow. I don't know how yet, but I think this can work somehow. I think these 3 are a good combination. So let's see. The plan is to glue that first over the pockets. I mean, I have these pockets here. That's a little problem, but not really. I mean, solvable problem. So let's perhaps go down here with this like main street, which was there. Then next let's add a strip of this. And then let's perhaps take this and imitate this little street here. I don't want to do that like it really was in reality, because that is not stylish enough. So now here, approximately here, is the place where we have waited for the bus, which has come from here and went along the street without picking us up. And on that bus station there was a sign with a yellow circle to show the place where you are. And I thought, why don't I take this and just perhaps with this writing here, cut out such a yellow circle from this bus ticket. This totally reminds me to this little sign, and I want to glue the circle here. Okay, then I will open these pockets just by cutting in here. And now let's find something to put into those pockets. I've just taken out all of the little bits and pieces that I have collected during that trip. So I have this. This is from a t-shirt that I've bought on a market, not in Lido di Ostia, but this is a great material which I can use to put in here. So let's just check what we have that has the right size actually. Oh, I have a second one of these. That's great. And that also matches this black and white style really well. Ooh, that was easy. So I will take both of these. And perhaps another of these tickets. That should work really well as well. We have the connection with the color here. And since I have so many of those, and I went with my hubby, who isn't my hubby, so we needed 2 tickets. Perfect. We also had lunch in a really nice restaurant in Lido di Ostia, and from there I have these napkins, really sturdy. I've told you in another video that I had some pasta with these little guys here, and when I've finished my meal, I've decided that I want to take these little shells here for having a nice memory, and I've wrapped them into this napkin. And when I came back to the hotel, I totally forgot about them. And the next day I thought, oh my goodness, I wanted to wash them because here there was some sauce on them. You can even see this green thingy. I don't know what this is, but that was part of the meal as well. It's dry in the meantime. That's really cool. And yeah, then I took the napkins with these shells and put them in some water in the hotel. And I thought this will become really destroyed in the end, but as you can see, it's totally fine. It's totally intact, and I want to use this now to back these tags so that I have this napkin as a part of my memory for these tags as well. And I'm also thinking about how I can include perhaps 1 or 2 of these shells, but perhaps that can't happen on this project. Perhaps I have to put that to another card or something, because this is really, it is extreme, isn't it? It's, the proportion is really weird. And it's also hard to decide for a position here. I mean, I could just take 1 or 2 and place them here, but I'm not so happy with that, to be honest, because they are so big. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, we would need a 3rd one to make this work. This should then go here perhaps, but I mean, look. No, I can't do that. I really can't do that. That's weird. So I will probably save these for another project. Or, ooh, what we could do is perhaps, okay, perhaps we could include them here to the street. Let's decide that in a second. Let's first take the napkin and glue that to the back here. Okay, so here we go. Shall I put them in here like so, or the other way around? One, I think, one like this, the other one like this. I really like the shell here, but somehow, even if they are so big, I also like those here. And ooh, I'm just remembering that I have something else from the beach there. Oh, and that's in here. And there are these little stones here that I've collected there. Why don't I use those? That's way better, and they are also easier to glue. Then it looks like this. I'm thinking about adding some sand here to my beach. I haven't brought some real sand back from Lido di Ostia to my home here, but I bought this distress embossing powder frayed burlap and some other colors in a craft store in Rome. And this embossing powder, this is the distress embossing powder which says create that weathered worn look. This is actually retired, but in some shops you can still get it, and I had the luck to get some colors of this. And the problem for this project with this powder is the following. Normally this is meant to use by adding it to the project, embossing it, and then you rub over it either with your fingers or a hard brush to remove some of these pieces, and with that you get this distressed look. So this is made out of pieces that little, these little powder pieces. I don't know the real name or the word in English, but there are things in it that melt and things that don't melt and leave those little spaces, and everything that doesn't melt you can remove, and then you get this distressed look. And here the problem is, I guess I can't rub too much over the surface, even if the stones are really, well attached here, but perhaps that is not so important. I want to try that, and later on I'm sure some of those things will fall off, but that is not the problem. I can live with that, but I want to add some of that here to imitate the sand. So I'm trying to get my embossing ink onto my project with the Distress Embossing dabber. I don't know how well this will work on the stones and the rest, but let's see. So I'm just randomly dabbing this on here. Wish me luck. This turned out just perfect. Oh my goodness, look at that. So I will not rub over this with my fingers or with a brush for two reasons. The first reason is this isn't completely cool yet. If you want to use this powder here, perhaps you have some of this in your stash, and I know we all have those things that we have in our stash and we have never used it, and then we have forgotten how to use it. So if you have some of this distress embossing powder, or you get some of this online, even if it's retired, then please have in mind that once you have embossed this, you have to let the project cool down completely before starting removing those pieces that shall fall off. If you try to remove that too early, meaning when it's still a little bit warm, then it can happen that everything falls off. Yeah, so please have that in mind. So that is the first reason. This is still a little bit warm, so I will not rub over this. And I don't want to rub over it because I want to place this just into my box there, and what wants to fall off shall fall off, please. And then it's laying in my box, and it's like, this little bit of sand that you have in your shoes or in your bag when you come back from a day on the beach. Do you know what I mean? And it's part of my project. It's part of my box. It's a little bit weird, I know, but I'm a freak. For me, that's normal. So now this is the front of this project. I really like how this turned out. And this is the back, or you could even see it the other way around, depending on how you want to put it into the box. And I will use my tags here for journaling later and write something down. So this can go in here now, and this makes me really happy. It's always such a great feeling to have another piece that I can put in here, and this can live here now. And yeah, I hope you like this. And if you have any questions, as always, please leave a comment. I wish you a very creative day, and I hope we will see you the next time. Bye bye.